Welcome to the Cohn Phone. I'm Grant Cohn. Wasn't here yesterday. I was in Calistoga at a hot spring, relaxing with my wife. Now I'm back, and the Niners have had lots of news. I have a few things I want to talk about, and then I'll take your calls. Starting off with the rumor of the day that there's buzz linking Jimmy Garoppolo to the Saints. This makes sense. Jack Hammer and I talked about this last week on our show on Tuesday and said the Saints would make sense. They have a defensive coach. Defensive coaches might be more inclined to overlook Jimmy Garoppolo's physical shortcomings, how he limits an offense, the way an offensive coach would think, and just look at his record. Well, he wins. Well, boom. Dennis Allen, the Saints, makes sense. Also, Jimmy had his best game ever against the Saints. Also, their weapons are kind of made for a physically limited quarterback like him. I mean, they throw the ball a lot to their running back, Alvin Kamara. They throw the ball a lot to Michael Thomas when he's healthy, who runs a bunch of slants. I mean, it's a decent fit. He's a lot like Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is like Drew Brees without the quick decision-making or the good decision-making. But physically, they kind of attack the same areas of the field. So I could see the Saints being interested in Garoppolo. The problem is I don't see him trading for him because the Saints are $44 million over the cap. And I know that they're very creative and they can probably create a lot of cap space just by restructuring people. But that's a lot of cap space they'd have to create to get Jimmy Garoppolo on the books in a trade. So they're $44 million over the cap. They would have to create $44 million plus another 27 to fit Jimmy under the cap, plus, money for the draft picks and their own free agents and other free agents. So to me, this is more like, hey, Jimmy, if they cut you, come here. We'll give you something. It won't be that much, but Jimmy, if he gets cut, gets $7.5 million from the 49ers. He can just add that on to whatever the Saints give him and feel like he made a lot of money this year. I feel like this is more like if he gets cut. I can't see the Saints trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, maybe they'd like to, even though they shouldn't, but that's a lot of salary cap that they would have to create just to make this possible in a trade. $27 million, and they're $44 million over the cap. You need like $10 million for draft picks. I don't see it. This is, I think, why Jimmy Garoppolo and Don Yee tanked his trade value, most likely on purpose, because he wants to go to a team like the Saints. In Jimmy's eyes, if he goes to the Saints, they might be better than the Niners next year, and he could, show them up. But I don't think the Saints would trade for him. So I think Jimmy understood that the odds of him going to a good team increased if he gets released. So I think that's why he tried to get released. Don't know if he will, but I think he probably will. I think Don Yee and him. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't outthink the 49ers, but Don Yee sure did. Won't Saints trade someone that carried cap for Jim? I don't think the Niners want to take money back. I think they're trying to create cap space. I don't know, maybe. Possible. All right. I've been thinking about the Brian Griese thing a lot. It's very interesting to me. Why did Mike Shanahan recommend Brian Griese, of all people, to Kyle Shanahan? I mean, really, Brian Griese, former NFL quarterback. There's a lot of former NFL quarterbacks. What made Griese so special? Well, first of all, I'd like to think that Kyle Shanahan had a huge, he interviewed a lot of people, a huge search and got to get the right person. But frankly, I doubt it. I don't know. I doubt they interviewed many people. John Lynch came out a week ago at the combine and said, look, I don't know how we're going to replace these coaches. Kyle isn't really a networker. So Brian Griese isn't in his network. He's in Mike Shanahan's network, his dad. And we know that Kyle gets a lot of his assistant coaches through his dad. So I could see Mike recommending Griese. Well, why? Who was Mike Shanahan's quarterback coach? Do you remember? When Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator with the 49ers, his quarterback coach was Gary Kubiak. Now, Gary Kubiak he played for the Broncos in the 80s. He was John Elway's backup quarterback for 9 seasons. That was back when Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator on the freaking Broncos back in the day. So he coached Kubiak, coached Elway. Kubiak had a personal connection to them. That's the theme with the Shanahans. So then Kubiak finally retires in 1991, immediately goes to Texas A&M, his alma mater, as a running backs coach. Is there for 2 seasons. Then Shanahan hires him as a quarterbacks coach in 94. So I'm sure Mike's being like, I mean, it worked once. Why not do it again? Right? This is how I did it. I don't know how you're going to do it, Kyle, but I created a quarterback coach. His name was Gary Kubiak, and he turned into an excellent offensive coordinator, excellent head coach. So let's just make the next one. Pretty much the thought process here, right? And Brian Griese was also a backup of John Elway, also played for Mike Shanahan, personal connection. I get it. So if you're trying to be positive about this move, be like, hey, man, maybe it worked for Gary Kubiak. My voice cracked on that one. It worked for Gary Kubiak. Why can't they do it again? I'm sure that's what they're thinking. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not arguing against that. Here's where I push back. Before they made this hire, I went on with Jesse Naylor on 49ers After Dark, and we both said that Kyle has a tendency. There's two kind of position coaches. The guys who are 100% committed to that position and aren't really looking to get promoted beyond that. Bobby Turner, Chris Kosterick. Those are the ones who are usually specialized in development. And you got the guys who are passing through. Guys who get promoted almost every year. You're a position coach for 1 year, then you're a coordinator. Then D'Amico's like that. Who else is like that? Rich Scangarello, right? Now he's his offensive coordinator for the second time. Not really a quarterback coach, but a guy who's on the cusp of being a coordinator, a head coach, someone that Kyle Shanahan can take credit for in his tree. And Jesse and I both agreed before this hire that we would like the Niners to hire a true quarterback coach, not someone who's passing through, who really aspires to be a coordinator, a head coach, because this is a big project, Trey Lance. You need a Bobby Turner, Chris Kosterick level quarterback coach. I mean, you don't need it, but it would really help. Someone who's committed to being Trey Lance's quarterback coach for the long haul, not some guy who's going to be his quarterback coach for 1 year, then the offensive coordinator the next year, then a head coach somewhere else in 2 years. That's what we said. And it sounded right. I mean, we agreed on it. No one disagreed. But then the Niners went and did the opposite. They hired Griese, who to me is like Kubiak. Kubiak was Shanahan's quarterback coach for 1 year on the Niners. Coach Steve Young didn't have to develop him. He was already in his prime. Then he went with Shanahan to the Broncos. Became the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach was that from 95 to 2002. He coached Elway. No development needed. And then when Elway finally retired, who did he coach? Ding, 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 Brian Griese. There's the connection. He coached Brian Griese, who's not good. Never developed. Disappointment. Not a franchise starting quarterback. Then he became just an offensive coordinator. Then he went to Texans, the Houston Texans, and was a head coach. Really good coach. But it was clear Mike brought him onto the staff because he saw him as a up-and-coming talent as a coordinator and head coach. Great. My prediction is that Griese will be the Niners offensive coordinator in 2023. He won't call plays, but they're going to promote him. Start him at quarterback coach, but then he'll be an offensive coordinator. And look, he'll be a head coach. And if Mike McDaniel can be a head coach, then Brian Griese can be a head coach. I mean, same with Anthony Lynn. Kyle is building an army of, people in his tree. It's great. But I still think with a quarterback like Trey Lance, better to just get a great quarterback coach. Someone, and I'm sure these guys exist, right? There are hundreds of quarterback coaches in college. A bunch in the NFL who might want to work with this Trey. He's one of the most gifted quarterbacks in the league right now. I mean, if you really cast a wide net, interview 20 people, I'd be hard-pressed to think that Griese would be the most qualified to coach Lance. I mean, yeah, Griese played, but there's other guys who've actually, I look at the development I did with this guy, with this guy, with this guy. Here's how I would develop Lance, just like the Kosterick of quarterback coaches. But no, they brought in an up-and-coming coordinator, an up-and-coming head coach. Okay, fine. That's how the Shanahans do it. Let's see if it works out. I just want to remind you that when Kubiak got his start, he was coaching Steve Young. Not 22-year-old Steve Young, 30-year-old Steve Young, or 33. How old was Steve Young in 1994? How old was Steve Young in 1994? 33. He was coaching fully developed 33-year-old Steve Young. Then he went and coached even older John Elway. And basically what he was doing was learning Mike Shanahan's system. Not developing a quarterback. He was learning Mike Shanahan's system while a veteran quarterback who needed no development was handling business. Great spot to bring in a former quarterback who has no experience coaching quarterbacks. It's a great place for a quarterback who doesn't need development. A vet, a Hall of Famer, not a 20. I mean, I don't know if Gary Kubiak would have been the right coach for Steve Young when Steve was 22. At that time, Steve needed Sid Gilman, Bill Walsh, Mike Holmgren. Bill Walsh never played quarterback, but he could develop him. Anyway, I think that's why Mike Shanahan did what he did. Thank you, Suzanne. I got more to say, though. So I just don't see how Brian Griese is the right fit for Trey Lance. No experience developing quarterbacks, and he didn't play like Lance. He was a statue. Here's the thing, though. Is it possible Griese's here for someone else? I mean, the Niners have been linked to Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers all freaking offseason, and I think it's pretty clear that the Niners would have to be at the top of both quarterbacks' wish list if they can get out of their respective spots. Who wouldn't want to play for the Niners with Deebo Samuel and Kyle Shanahan and George Kittle and all these people when healthy? This defense seems like this would be any quarterback's dream. I mean, look how far they went with Jimmy Garoppolo. No quarterback. I mean, they all know how much better they are than him. So anyway, maybe this is in anticipation of the Niners making another move. Maybe Lance isn't going to be the quarterback on this team. Maybe he's going to be Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. In that case, like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't need a quarterback coach to tell him how to throw the ball. The quarterback coach position, if Rodgers is here, essentially is just ceremonial, and you're learning the system, so you might be able to be a coordinator one day. Is it possible? I mean, Griese played with Brady at Michigan. There's a connection there. I'm just saying, this made me think that maybe the Niners really do think they're going to go after Rodgers or Brady or both and get one of them. Is that crazy? No, I wouldn't advise against it. I mean, I love Trey Lance, but if the Niners trade Trey Lance for Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady and win the Super Bowl, no one's going to criticize them ever. So, interesting. I don't see the fit between Griese and Lance. I definitely see the fit between Griese and Brady, Griese and Rodgers, because with those two guys, you don't need to develop a quarterback. There's no development necessary. They're the best quarterbacks of all time. Two of them. Griese's just there to learn the offense and be a coordinator in training. So I don't rule out the Niners pursuing those two quarterbacks. This seems like a quarterback coach for them, one of them. Jim Harbaugh did pretty well for Colin Kaepernick. Get Solari to fix the line on the cheap and a decent cornerback, and we are good. Sure. Solari's terrific. I agree with that. Okay, let's move on. Rumors. The Niners are rumored to be interested in Juju Smith-Schuster. When I hear this, I think this is a shot at Deebo and his agent. I'm thinking those negotiations aren't going so good. He already blocked me. I didn't do anything. I'm thinking those negotiations aren't going too good. I'm thinking Deebo says, I'd like to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. I'm thinking $25 million a year. And the Niners are like, how about $18 million a year? Because you're kind of a running back. You get hurt a lot, soft tissue injuries. And I think they're probably really, really freaking far apart. Also, the Niners can tag Deebo Samuel for about $18 million. So I don't think they're going to go that much higher than the tag. And I think Deebo Samuel that might blow his mind. We'll see what happens with that. But I think this is part of the negotiation. And Deebo and his agent are probably saying, nothing less than 25 is acceptable. And then boom, the Niners are interested in Juju Smith-Schuster. Why is this relevant to Deebo? You can't afford both of them. Can't afford both of them. This is a cheaper option. And what they're saying is, if you want $25 million a year, we'd rather spend whatever it takes to get Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm guessing, than all that on you. Because we don't even know if he'll be healthy. Kyle created you. He can do it again. He can do it with Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, I'm sure the Niners would rather have Deebo. They'll probably work it out. I don't think he's going to come to it. I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster will be on the Niners at any point. But I think this is going to really help the Niners in negotiations. Remember, 2 years ago, when they were in the process of extending George Kittle's contract, there was that real random report in the offseason that the Niners were interested in Austin Hooper, right? People were like, damn, what a 2 tight end offense that would be. That would be great. There wasn't money for Kittle and Hooper. That was a shot at Kittle and his agent saying, hey, if you guys don't work with us, if you guys want to take a hard line and say we're worth $20 million a year, and that's that final, let's get Austin Hooper because we like him and he'll actually be reasonably priced. And Kittle came down to $16 million. I bet you we thought he was going to get 20. He got 16. because Austin Hooper existed. And the Niners, bluffed or whatever, made it seem like they might want him. This is the same thing, I think. Hey, Debo, you're not going to budge off 25? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Because we like Juju too. And we can franchise tag you. So what do you want to do? Man, these games are dirty. Parag just got worked by Don Yee too. So he needs to get back in his game. I think he's back in the swing of things. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, J55F100. All right. Niners rumored to be interested in Charvarius Ward, cornerback from Kansas City. Played against the Niners in the Super Bowl. Good cornerback, good athlete, good man-to-man coverage. Good player, would be an upgrade over Ambry Thomas. Wouldn't be cheap either. It'd probably be about $8 to $10 million a year. 4 career interceptions. 4 career picks. Good player. But it seems to me the Niners really need a couple of DBs who have ball skills, who have a track record, who actually have the skill of intercepting passes, because they don't really have that in their secondary. And with this front seven, that run defense, that pass rush, they should be intercepting passes left and right. And interceptions are important. Turnovers determine wins and losses. The Niners, it seems like they, for the last 20 years, have decided they don't want to pursue cornerbacks with ball skill, as if they think it's a myth. No, it's real. Look at your strong safety, how that ended. Look what happened to Tart this year. Count the career interceptions of all the people in the Niners secondary. They don't pick off passes. That's why even old Sherman was sort of valuable to this defense. That's what he could do. Now you don't have it. Very smart. Yeah, so he'd be an upgrade, but couldn't you get someone at the same price range with some ball skills? I'm just saying. How about Rasul Douglas? 5 picks last year. That's just a preference. I don't understand why the Niners act like ball skills don't exist. Do they think it's a premium that you pay for that you can't replicate, that like interceptions are just random? If that were the case, the Niners wouldn't rank near the bottom of the league in interceptions every year. They're not random. You have to try to get players who have the traits that allow them to get the interceptions. I'm just saying. So Charvarius Ward, they can do better. I think they can do better than Charvarius Ward. Finally, there's apparently going to be a bidding war for Laken Tomlinson, according to Jeremy Fowler. Says the teams that are be interested are the Vikings, the Steelers, the Jets, the Panthers, and Bengals. I think the Niners anticipated this. I think that's why they drafted Aaron Banks last year, and I don't think the Niners are going to be able to win a bidding war for Laken Tomlinson, nor should they. I've always said that Laken Tomlinson is a bit of a stiff. He's overrated. I don't know why he gets so much love. PFF likes him. The Niners like him, but some team is going to overpay for him and be really disappointed. He was cool. He was all right. My professional opinion of Laken Tomlinson's game is that it's all right. But someone's going to pay him a ton of money and he's not worth it. And the Niners should be able to get someone cheaper and just as good. Maverick Palak on my website said they could sign Dan Feeney. They could sign Trey Turner. They could see what Aaron Banks has. I don't think they should draft and develop offensive linemen because they can't draft and develop offensive linemen, but just sign a guy. Laken Tomlinson was no one before he came to the Niners. Do that again. Get the next Laken. Feel me? I didn't go to the mud baths. It was just a regular hot spring that I was in. It was nice, though. Felt good. All right, let's take some calls. Shall we? All right. Boom. All right. If you want to call in, just click the link in the chat box of the description of the video, and then I will put you on the show, and then we'll talk. Whew. Man, a lot of talking right there. What do you think of Sauce Gardner? Really interested to hear your take. I haven't watched him play yet, but without the sauce, what would he be? Noodle Gardner? Noodle Gardner. Is that his name if you took the sauce away? That's my question. Hold on. All right, I got the new overlays from Jesse Naylor, who was up till like 3 a.m. in Florida doing this. I fell asleep. He kept texting me like, man, it's 3 hours later. But anyway, that dude works hella hard. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. Let's see what it's all about. Oh, sup? How you doing?
Good. How are you, Grant?
Good.
So, I do have a suggestion for you. You should create a side channel for when you do your singing all the songs. We could always use an extra laugh in the day. As they say, if we can get an extra laugh in the day, that's always worth it.
All right, I will. I like it.
So a couple points to you. I never believed that Laken was going to come back. Other teams in the AFC and in the NFL have more cap space than the 49ers. So in case if they needed to protect their quarterback, they were going to overpay for Laken since Roger Saffold got 10 million 2 years ago. They're going to overpay for Laken. And hey, good for him. If someone's willing to give you the bigger money than what the Niners are, you got to consider taking it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Bye, Laken.
Yeah. I do like your suggestion for Rasul Douglas. I would love to see the defense get more takeaways because they were playing great with getting sacks, and that's always a great thing. But if you can get the takeaways with the sacks, that's a 2-for-1.
That's what you want. And they're so close. It just seems like the Niners have made a decision for 20 years. Like, we're not even going to go after that trade because it's expensive and it's hard to go after it. Please pursue it. You want it. You need it.
Yeah, exactly. My dad always told me if you want to make an omelet, you're going to have to crack a few eggs. So you might as well go for it and do it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't think one last point about the coaching. To me, I think Kyle is unoriginal with his coaching hires. Outside of someone like D'Amico, which is a great hire, he kind of cocoons himself with people who he's known or his father is known, and not bring in someone new or not in that inner circle per
How
se.
do we know D'Amico? Because his first coaching job was with the Texans, second coaching job was with the Texans, and D'Amico was there. So every time he hires someone, most of the time he hires someone, it's either someone he's worked with or his dad's worked with. Anthony Lynn played for his dad. Brian Griese played for his dad. Like, even Lynch said it with a laugh. Like, he doesn't network. He doesn't network. So it's not like he's gonna bring in a bunch of people he doesn't know, look at your resumes, interview him, and say, okay, I don't know you at all, but I love what you're saying. If you don't know Kyle Shanahan, chances are you're not gonna be on his coaching staff. Chances are. And I feel like, I guess it's worked for him. But man, aren't you supposed to be looking for the most qualified person for the job? Aren't you? I'm just saying, like, if this was an actual job, you would have to do that. You couldn't just hire your friend all the time if it was like a real job. Just saying.
Yeah, you get burned by hiring friends on occasion, and that's never fun. So, one last point. I don't disagree with your opinion about trying to trade George Kittle for a first round pick. If a team called and offered me a first and a second, at the very least, I'm listening. What are you going to do? It's like going to buy a car. You talk to the dealer and say, "Hey, I have some cash on me. Let's do a little talking."
I'm really concerned that George Kittle's going to do something bad to his lower body this year. It's been 2 injuries in a row. I feel like third time. They gotten lucky that it hasn't really been anything major, but he's going to be 29. That's how old Richard Sherman was when he tore his Achilles. He's getting to be about that age where if things are starting to pop, they could go. So I'm all about trading him before that happens. I know it sounds harsh, but I don't have any emotional attachment to George Kittle. I'm looking at a guy who might need to go. That's what I see.
It was a different time, but didn't Carmen Policy and Eddie DeBartolo not retain Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott? I understand that was a different time, but if you want to try
they essentially cut Ronnie Lott and Roger Craig. They left them unprotected. They're like, look, any team wants you, you're essentially a free agent. Goodbye. Cold business, man. It's a business.
Exactly. People don't understand that when they're
way colder about the players than fans are. There's no emotional attachment in this building. Everyone acted like Jimmy and the Niners were hella professional and close, but when it came down to it, Jimmy just screwed the Niners over. He tanked his own trade value. What a team player. Thanks a lot, 49ers. You thought you were going to get something for me? Nah. Nope.
Exactly. Bill Belichick, he might be an affable guy when he's not in the complex, but he's a cold football guy in their building, and that's how it should be.
Montana's never gotten over it either. That's why he's still salty.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Grant. You have a nice week.
You too, man. Good to see you.
Yep.
Bay Area Baller, what is up?
What's up, Grant? Hey, I like the intro with the Bob Griese and the rumors. Please no Juju, though. I don't want to waste money on Juju Smith.
It's not going to happen. They're going to franchise tag Debo at the worst. This is all negotiation. Dude's not coming.
Okay, good.
Unless they trade Debo, unless something gets real crazy in the negotiations and Debo says trade me, but I don't really see that happening.
No.
Could,
I hope
but
not.
I don't think
I hope not. And then
so.
Charvarius Ward. I had always heard, not that I'm watching a bunch of Kansas City Chiefs all 22 and whatnot, but I had always heard Algerius Sneed was the top corner over there. So is Ward more of a slot guy?
No, he plays outside. He's okay. Because I remember Matthew plays a lot in the slot for them. His numbers are like his advanced numbers are good. Last year, his quarterback rating allowed was 79. The year before was 103, but the year before that, it was 65. So I think if you pair him with a good pass rush, he's good man-to-man coverage. He's 20 freaking 5. He's about to be 26. He's relatively young. Still, like, could you just get one guy who can intercept a pass on this team, please? I mean, maybe Ambry's that guy. He had some nice picks late on, but
yeah, his ball skills were improving.
Yeah,
the last few weeks of the year. But Grant, I got a question for you. How long can we hold on to Jimmy G before we absolutely need the capital, like in hopes of trading him? Right, because we know March 16 free agency, the new league year starts. Like, when are we going to need the money so bad that we have to cut him?
I mean, I'm thinking they're probably going to need it. They're going to want it before the legal tampering period starts. I mean, why would you not want to engage in that? They're not going to have enough cap space to be players in that, and that's in 6 days. It's 8 days. 8 days. 8 days.
Yeah, the 14th.
So a week. They got a week to try to trade him. If not, just cut him. But really, what they need to do so they get the most cap space possible is trade him for a conditional 7th round pick in the future.
Yeah. So we don't have to pay. Take it. Yeah, the $7.5 million, and $7.5 million is nothing to sneeze at, because I expect DJ Jones to be getting paid somewhere between 8 and 10. So it's practically DJ Jones's salary right there.
Yeah, a conditional late round pick in the future. That's all you got to take. That's all you got. That's all you need just to get the most cap space possible. Do that. I'll give you an A+ if you do that.
No doubt. Hey, Grant, I just released my top 20 wide receiver video.
Yeah.
For the upcoming NFL draft, and I got 3 guys the Niners need to eye. I got that the Niners should be looking to draft. Most of them are mid to later round guys, and I'm gonna start off with Danny Gray out of SMU. This guy, he's a speed demon. Okay. He was a track star in high school. He's a JUCO guy. Okay. And the thing with SMU is they have 2 guys that are going to get drafted. Reggie Roberson, who played on the left side exclusively, and Danny Gray, who lined up on the right side exclusively. So there might be a bit of a learning curve because he only lined up on half the field.
Yes.
So but he's a great.
I mean, it's not really a reason to just because that's how some guy structured his offense. I mean, this guy can't be a better player in the NFL. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. The second guy I'm looking at is Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. This was Ritter's top target. Okay, he's 6'3". And he's fast. Ran the 4.41 at the combine. He was catching some contested balls, but he can separate, and he's physical. So he'd be like a big slot improvement over Jawan Jennings because he's faster. I think he's just more dynamic.
But here's what's going to happen, though. They're going to trade George Kittle for that first-round pick and draft either Trey McBride or Christian Watson. Who would you rather them have? A tight end or just a big wide receiver on the outside? Like, who would be better for trade? Because this is the last thing I want to say about trading Kittle. I haven't made this point yet, but even if Kittle doesn't get hurt, how many more years is he going to be dominant? How many more years is he going to be on this team? Trey's going to be here for 15 years. I'd like more players that are around his age that can grow with him like Ayuk and Debo. All I'm saying. So anyway, that's to the side. Would you rather take McBride or Christian Watson at that spot?
I'm going Watson. I'm a big Watson. I got him inside my top 10. And I knew he was going to run well, but the 4.35 or the 4.36 at 6'4", and he's moving. Yeah, no, I like Watson. But the last receiver I got for you is the player I'm higher on than anybody I've seen, and it's Romeo Doubs out of Nevada. He was Carson Strong's top target. He had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at Nevada, and what I like about him is he's got the tantalizing size, speed, and height. He's 6'2", so he's got that combination that is really enticing for me, Romeo Doubs. But I was disappointed. I was telling Splash Cousin Jordan that, hey, check him out at the combine. Let me know how he's looking. The guy didn't interview. He didn't do nothing on the field, didn't run. So it was kind of head scratching. While I'm pounding the table for Romeo Doubs, and then he kind of doesn't do nothing at the combine.
Oh, well, hey, thanks for giving us some names to start our research on. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you.
Right on, Grant.
Everyone follow Bay Area Baller 18 on YouTube, man. His channel's killer. Good stuff, dude.
I appreciate it.
For sure. Hold on. Grant, what happened to Sibla? Miss her sassy takes, keeping and you haters be hating. She dropped a 45-pound weight at the gym on her foot. Seriously. She's savage, but that hurts. She'll be back like next week. She in a ton of pain. Trade Jimmy G to the Steelers for right tackle Zach Banner, sign free agent Trey Turner, save cash for Mike McGlinchey and Laken Tomlinson. I think they pretty much have to pay McGlinchey. That's a fully guaranteed fifth-year option they picked up. But I like all the things you're saying. 88 Niner.
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for doing the show. I thought I wasn't going to be able to see you until later in the week.
Nah, man. I've been looking forward to it. I just took a day off in Calistoga to get my mind right. It felt good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's nice place.
It is nice.
I don't buy Jimmy to the Saints. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I feel that there are teams out there that think they are much closer than they are in reality, and they're essentially a quarterback away. And there are people out there that feel that Jimmy's done a lot of winning, and they don't feel the pain that we felt as fans because, you know, we've been right there for essentially the last decade. You know, we were right there in 2012 and went to a couple NFC title games, but didn't make it. And then there was hope with Chip, but that never went nowhere. And then Kyle came and there was hope, but then Jimmy came, and that's really when things started turning around. And regardless of the fact that he's failed twice, he still won a lot of games. Mm-hmm. And I talked to a fan in the grocery store the other day. He happened to be a Steelers fan that was adamant that he wanted Jimmy. I'm like, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it. He was damn near begging.
He's like, trade for Jimmy. We're going to trade for Jimmy. We got to trade for Jimmy. That's what he said?
That's what he was saying. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, dude, if you want him. Right. The point is, there are plenty of fans out there, and therefore organizations that may feel that, look, he can give us enough that if we could get the right people around him, we can make a run. Okay. That's that. The truth of the matter is, get rid of him. I don't care which or way how he's going. I will pay for him to leave. That's the truth, Grant. If we cut him and we have to pay the $7.5 million, and somebody else picks him up, and we have to pay 3, 2, whatever, I would pay for that. That's how badly I feel about getting him off of the squad. That's all I have to say about that. I got a very, very interesting take on Florio. Okay. I think Kyle Shanahan's a genius.
How?
I think he's a genius. Because Trey doesn't necessarily need to be coached, okay? He needs to be helped to understand what's going on and how to correlate that with Kyle and on the field, okay? A lot of people don't think that, or excuse me, let me back up. The difference of why people don't say he's ready is because Jimmy gave you them quick throws down the field. And Trey hasn't quite been able to show that he can do that consistently, right? So I'm thinking you got a TV analyst. He's been able to see the entire field for whoever knows how many years. He's going to be able to give the kid pearls of wisdom that not even some coaches are going to be able to give him, because they've not seen the field from that aspect and understood the game to that nuance level. There's really a difference when you talk about seeing the field from a bird's eye view and watching the whole thing play out and being able to say to the quarterback, this is why you should have made that throw, even though you didn't see the receiver breaking, because he was going to, because you know how the defense was going to react. It's a different thought process. So if this plays out like I think it is, Kyle would be a genius, because all you're trying to do is get Lance a little bit of help. You're not necessarily trying to coach this kid. He already has the ability to pick up what you're trying to put down. You're just trying to get him caught up so that y'all can make a run, which can happen. I really think that if Kyle scripts this the right way, we are still in a championship window, as long as the right pieces are around him and the right calls are being made. One last thing I want to say to you is, it's actually a question. It's how major is anybody that we draft, considering with the Shanahans, or with this Shanahan era, we seem not to be playing our freshmen, so to speak. Like,
Right.
how important really are these guys?
Yeah, I mean, like, you think with the 61st pick, the Niners could draft a starter. Do they look at that way? Maybe they look at the 61st pick in the draft as being a backup on their team because they're so good.
That's what that's what
possible.
I feel. I really feel that.
That could be a depth piece. That they could be looking at needs a year down the line. I mean, when they drafted Aaron Banks last year, he was ahead of 61, wasn't it? What pick was he? I forget.
I don't remember.
That was with next year in line. I mean, so was Trey Lance, frankly.
Yeah,
Problem is the Niners are losing so many players in free agency. They actually might need some starters in this draft. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
One
Banks
last question:
was the 48th pick. Banks was the 48th pick. Wow.
Okay, interesting. How much faith do you have that if that kid Christian Watson is there, we'd pick him up?
Maybe, but I don't think he's going to be there, man. 6'5" dude that runs like that.
You don't think he's going to be there?
61? No, I don't think so. I got to take more calls. Yeah. I'm cutting this off in 25 minutes. Good to see you, Rob.
Hey, man. Likewise, I appreciate you.
Of course. See you next time.
Yes.
All right. Ben, you ready?
Let's do it.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. Feel relaxed.
Yeah. No, I'm just a little sunburnt right now. But I'm interested kind of going into free agency right now. The one thing I'm going to be looking at that's really key is whatever cornerback they're bringing in, it's got to be someone who has slot experience, right? Or if they're going to be bringing in another safety, it's going to
get
have
two guys.
Yeah, exactly. You have to fill two different spots. That's why I think like Charvarius Ward, I was looking him up, just doesn't have the slot experience that you would like him to have. I don't know if they go after him. To me, I heard Rob on your show the other day talking about that guy was going to be under $10 million, right? I think that guy might be Kyle Fuller. Because obviously he has a lot of slot experience. He's someone who's a little on the older side. But when I think if, you look at this cornerback class for free agency, there's not a lot of young guys who also have that slot experience that you would like them to have. I think the only guy who I really saw that I like that I feel like could be a fit is maybe PJ Williams, who's been playing for the Saints the past few years, has slot experience, but also has free safety experience. So that'll be interesting. But
real quick. This dude, hold on. Kyle Fuller is 30.
Yes.
He has 19 picks in his career. He had 7 in 28. He's an all-pro in his past. This past year, he gave up a passer rating of 119, but the year before was 89. So I think a lot of it had to do with maybe the team he was on, but also he's 30. So I'm a little nervous on that one. Yeah.
No, it's not great. It's not great. And I think that's the tough thing with this cornerback class is there's no young guys that they can really get at the slot. And you know what? I brought up this point exactly, maybe drafting a slot with Coach Noah Johnston about 2 weeks ago. Problem with that is for the slot position, you need to have a lot of experience there. They're not just going to bring in a rookie and plug and play that guy to run fit and do all that stuff.
What I'm scared about is that Diamador Lenore is what they're thinking. It's like, look, we didn't play him right away. He's a second-year guy. That's what you see him saying. I'm afraid that the Niners are going to go dollar store general in the secondary and be like, Hafunga is strong safety, Diamador at nickel, and we'll spend on one corner. We'll spend on one corner, but basically give the rest to the youngsters. I bet you. I bet you it's going to happen.
And that's what I'm the most worried about that right now, Grant, is like, I think what they're going to do is they're going to try and like go after some guys, right? And then they're just going to settle for the guys they already have in-house. Like instead of, bringing back Laken, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be a possibility. They're just going to plug Aaron Banks in that spot. Like you said, with Lenore, they're going to probably let K1 walk and then just plug Lenore into that spot. It's concerning.
I'd like to see Mosley get a chance in the slot because I think he'd been there in the past when he was younger at times in I want to say training camp, and he's a really good tackler.
Yeah, he is.
That being said, he gets hurt a lot.
He does.
And there's going to be a lot of big collisions in the slot. Maybe that's why they don't do it. He gets hurt a lot, Mosley. All the more reason to bring in another corner.
Yeah, and I think for me, that's like the biggest thing with the corners right now. It's not that like they need to go get that one guys. They need to have solidified depth so that if they have a situation like what happened this past year where your corners all get hurt in the first couple of weeks of the year, you're not going and getting, your Josh Normans and your Drake Patricks of the world. So
that's a great point. They can't let that happen again.
No, they can't. No. And they should see that coming from a mile away. If they're just going to go into the season with Lenore, Mosley, Ambry, and then some, Dante Johnson,
Jason Barrett. Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Grant, I'm really happy if they bring back Dante Johnson as their last corner on the roster.
Mr. Reliable. Right? Yeah.
Yes. You need that guy who can plug in multiple spots, but if he's going to be your fourth or fifth corner and then it's also Jason Verrett next to him, it's what are you relying on? So I'm really worried about that, man, right now. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. They should probably carry 6 corners too, just in case.
They probably should. And also, real quick, I wanted to talk about this Jimmy thing real quick, man, because I remember on the last call when I was with you, I told you I think they're going to cut him, and that's what it seems like everything is leading towards. And man,
I think he forced the issue on it. I think it's what he wants. I think it's what he wants really bad.
Donnie is showing a masterclass right now in what to do when you have a damaged asset, especially at a really important position where a lot of teams might be interested if he's a free agent, right? So I think you kind of nailed it. From Jimmy's perspective, the only way they're going to trade him is to a team that he probably, 1, doesn't want to go to, and 2, isn't going to win that much. So if they do end up trading him, for 1, he doesn't get that $7.5 million injury guarantee, and then for 2, I think the biggest thing for Jimmy moving forward to extend his career and make the most money is if he goes to another team and makes the playoffs again, right? Or has another 10-win season, whatever else happens after that doesn't matter because Jimmy proved he can quote unquote win in 2 spots. So he'll keep getting that next opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. And I think for him, the goal, obviously it's to go to a place where he can, whatever. He's going to say, oh, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to go far in the playoffs. For him, it's really going to be this audition for the rest of the league to prove he can be that winner outside of this 49ers system because he hasn't proven that so far. So if he goes somewhere else and quote unquote proves that, has a 10-win season somewhere, man, it doesn't matter if they don't want him the next season after. His value is, he's making a lot of money. I mean, just to do that, make a lot of money.
And also to me, this whole Saints thing, it seems like more that he wants to go to New Orleans.
Yes.
I maybe New Orleans is interested. I think they might be interested. I'm sure he is among the top 3 quarterback options for a lot of teams, top 3. Right. The number 1 option for the Saints, I bet the Saints are his number 1 option. I bet he'd love to play with Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, right? Of course he would. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to trade for him. And maybe if he's a free agent and they have no other, maybe if he's a free agent, all else is the same, they would take him over Winston. Maybe.
I don't even think that. The way I see it, Grant, is they probably want to bring
right.
What?
The locker room likes Winston over there. He's been there for a while.
Yeah, no, he's been there since the last 2 years, really, right? Yeah. He backed up Drew Brees for that half season, and then he just tore the ACL at the beginning of this year. So I think the thing with the Saints is you're right? New Orleans, they're a team that they might want Jimmy if they run out of all other options. The Steelers, another team, if everything else doesn't work, hey, Jimmy is a fine option, but they're not going into free agency thinking to themselves, this is the number 1 option. And that's why I think Jimmy and his agent are forcing this whole issue, him to get cut. And especially with the injury thing, I think the thing I heard you talk about, I think on SB Nation with Rob Guerrero actually was how, it's the beginning of the combine, right? This is when all business is done at the NFL. On the first day of it, he has this shoulder injury that pretty much all but guarantees the $7.5 million injury guarantee in his deal, which then incentivizes it just puts the team in a bad position and it incentivizes them to cut him, even though they're still losing money on it if they wouldn't have otherwise traded him. And now it's either going to be that they cut him or they trade him, like you said, for a conditional 6th-round pick to whichever team that Jimmy doesn't want to go to. So it seems like they're playing chicken with the 49ers right now. They're who's going to blink first? And if the 49ers blink first, then they win.
I think the Niners are going to blink first if they know what's good for him. Ben, good call.
Yeah. Peace out,
Thanks
man.
On it. Later, man. All right, everyone. The man, the myth, the legend, Shardal. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Grant?
Can I just say that you look phenomenal?
Thanks, man.
Thank you for dressing up. What's on your mind?
Hey, Grant, good afternoon. How's your day going?
It's going good, man. It's going really good. I'm glad to see you. How are you?
I really like your YouTube channel and all the content you put on the platform, man. It's really great. I mean,
thanks, man.
Yeah, so you do a great job.
What are we talking about today, football-wise?
So we're getting this 20-question rapid-fire round underway.
Let's do it. I love it.
So my first question is, who's the greatest 49er of all time? Joe Montana or Jerry Rice?
Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is the greatest football player of all time. Jerry Rice.
Who are your top 5 wide receivers on the 49ers?
Right now or of all
Yeah.
time? Right now? Okay. Right now,
Right
we
now.
got Deebo Samuel, number 1. Brandon Ayuk, number 2. Jawan Jennings, number 3. And then who else do they have on this team? Hold on. I don't know who's like actually a free agent and who's still here. So just a second. Oh man. I think those are the only ones they have under contract. I think everyone else is a free agent. Sherfield's free agent, Sanu free agent, Benjamin free agent. Connor Weddington is number 4. And then Keyshawn Johnson, number 5. They need wide receivers.
So my third question is, what are your thoughts of Bryant Young getting inducted to the Hall of Fame at Canton?
Overdue. He was arguably as good, if not better, than Warren Sapp. He just wasn't a big self-promoter like Warren Sapp was. Overdue. Great player. In the late 90s, I think he was the best player on the 90s, better than Rice and Young, like back in 97, 98.
So my fourth question is, should the San Francisco 49ers bring back Raheem Mostert next season?
Only if it's a very cheap contract. Maybe $1 million. I wouldn't give him more than that because he got injured the last 2. He hasn't been healthy in 2 years.
My fifth question is, who's the best cornerback on the 49ers? Emmanuel Mosley or Josh Norman?
Oh, Mosley, for sure. Mosley.
My sixth question is that what are your thoughts of punter Mitch Wishnowsky?
I think he's average, mediocre at best, and the Niners didn't need to draft him when they did.
My seventh question is, what are your thoughts of the 49ers pursuing for cornerback Stephon Gilmore in free agency?
If they could get Gilmore, I would give him a standing ovation. I think he's going to end up being a little too expensive for him, but he's a great player. I think they should definitely go after him.
My eighth question is that who is the greatest quarterback on the 49ers, Colin Kaepernick or Steve Young?
Steve Young was a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. Steve Young was an MVP. He won a Super Bowl. Steve Young is one of the 10 best quarterbacks of all time. Steve Young was better than Drew Brees. Steve Young was underrated.
My ninth question is that should the 49ers re-sign defensive line Arden Key in free agency?
If they can afford him, but I don't think they'll be able to. Like if they had to choose between DJ Jones, Laken Tomlinson, and Arden Key, I would say take Arden Key. Best player. Most impact.
My 10 questions that who's a better tight end on the 49ers, Ross Dwelly or Charlie Warner?
I think Ross Dwelly's better. They're totally opposites, though. Warner is a strong blocker. Dwelly has really good hand-eye coordination. Warner's not much of a receiver. Dwelly's not much of a blocker. But I think Dwelly is actually someone who could be a legit weapon in the red zone. And it's funny the Niners don't use him. So I say Dwelly. I'm a big Dwelly truther, though.
Yeah, my 11 questions that is Laken Tomlinson the biggest priority for the 49ers this offseason?
I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I think a lot of people are going to want him. There's going to be a bidding war on him, and the Niners are going to let him go. He's not that good. He's overrated. So no.
My 12 questions: who is the deadliest player on the 49ers? Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel?
Deebo.
My 13 questions that what are some of your favorite moments from 49ers history?
Some of my favorite moments from 49ers history. Well, being in Green Bay this year when they blocked the punt and no one knew where the ball was, and then God took the ball and put it at the 3-yard line for Talanoa Hufanga. That was cool. The whole last season was quite interesting. I would have to say this whole last season. What else?
My 14 questions: will the San Francisco 49ers sign cornerback J.C. Jackson from the Patriots in free agency?
No, they should, but he's too expensive. They won't give $100 million to a cornerback.
My 15 questions: will the 49ers trade for running back Christian McCaffrey in free agency?
They better not. I don't think they will, but they better not. I kind of see that as like another shot at Deebo. Like, look, man, if you don't want to work with us, we're going to find creative ways to replace you, but only if Deebo doesn't come back. If the Niners trade Deebo, they might do something like that, but I don't think they're going to trade Deebo.
My 16 questions:
trade. Sorry, go ahead.
Should the 49ers draft Christian Watson, wide receiver from North Dakota State, to be trade? Do you think
they would have to trade George Kittle to get him? So yeah.
My 17 question is that Should the 49ers make Fred Warner the highest paid linebacker in the NFL?
They already did. And then he responded by having his worst season in the NFL. So maybe not. Maybe they shouldn't have. I don't know. He needs to bounce back this year.
My 18 question: that could quarterback Marcus Mariota be the answer for the San Francisco 49ers quandary in 2022?
I'd rather get Tyrod Taylor, but I think Mariota would be a good second choice as a backup.
My 19 questions: that should the 49ers sign cornerback Russell Douglas from the Green Bay Packers in free
Hell
agency?
yeah. Hell yeah. That's my number one target at corner. Yes.
My 19 questions: that should who are the top 5 career rushers on the 49ers past or present?
Pass rushers or running backs?
Career rushers.
Career rushers? I don't know what you mean.
Like pass rush career rushers like no, let me change it. Who are your top 5 running backs on the 49ers?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You got Elijah Mitchell. You got Trent Can't. No. You got Trey Sermon, Jermichael Hasty, and that's it. Those are the 3 running backs they have on their roster right now, plus Juszczyk.
When analyzing the 2022 schedule for next season, which games are you going to be looking forward to watching next year? When looking at all the teams listed.
Hopefully the Niners get to go play in Mexico City and I get to go. I want to do that. Cardinals, Mexico City.
But fun. Do you have any questions for me now? Because I've asked you plenty.
Do you think the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl next year?
I think they will. It's kind of far-fetched at this point. I mean, I think they might, but I think we have to wait. I want to see that happen, because that would be really, great if that can come to fruition and happen. But it's gonna be great if it happens, but I'm not sure if it will.
I feel you.
But yeah, I'm pretty optimistic that we want to win another Super Bowl.
I hear you. Well, that was a great call, Shardal. You dressed nice. You were very professional. This was one of your best. Thank you very much. It's an honor to participate with you.
And I'll see if I can call I'll call in next week. But I hope you have a great one, Grant, and I think you have more callers to get to, so I don't want to keep you waiting.
You're the greatest, Shardal. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay, see ya.
See ya, man. The man, the myth, the legend, every single time. Never disappoints. AK.
Hey.
AK 49er, what it do?
What it do, Grant? How's it going?
I'm hanging in there, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Enjoying this early spring-like warmth in Atlanta right now.
It's nice in Atlanta?
Yeah, it's like 81 degrees today.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I was
cold
looking
over
at
here.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll survive.
I was looking at the 2022 schedule, and we're going to be playing in Atlanta, so I was wondering if you're going to be going.
I think so. I think I will.
Oh, man. Hope I get to see you there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, man. What are we talking about today?
So I want to talk to you about Brian Griese. And
Okay.
I know you kind of had some reservations about it, but after digging deep and thinking about it more, I think it's a great hire, a perfect hire for Trey, actually.
Perfect. Okay.
So the reason I say that is because you and I grew up in the same generation. So we had a chance to watch Griese both in Denver as well as in Tampa. And to me, Griese reminds me a lot of Jimmy, a better version of Jimmy, in the sense that quick release as well as more of a pocket passer, and but not really good off script. But he was great when playing within the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Now Trey, on the other hand, he is great off script, but he needs to learn how to do. He needs to immerse himself more in the offense. And I think what Griese will be able to do is to help him when it comes to making those quick throws over the middle, especially on first down, second down, getting the ball out quick on those bootlegs, as well as on play action, so that, because it's one thing to be off script in a 2-minute drill or on third and long, but being off script is not sustainable all game. it's like in basketball, for example. If you look at Michael Jordan when he first came in, or Kobe, they were great one-on-one players initially, but they were great one-on-one players. But until Phil Jackson came in and taught them the triangle offense, that's when they really took their potential to GOAT status level. So that's where I feel Griese will come in, by being able to teach Trey the Shanahan offense. So I know. So just wanted to see, what your thoughts were on, some of my points.
Well, that's what people said when Colin Kaepernick went to Kurt Warner as a quarterback coach in the offseason. People said, doesn't matter that Kurt Warner hasn't coached before. He played the game, and it doesn't matter that Kurt Warner's style of playing quarterback is exactly opposite to Colin Kaepernick's. In fact, it's a good thing, because Kaepernick needs to learn from someone that's different than him. I always disagree with that. I always felt that a quarterback who can move, like, that's an asset, and you don't want to have that drilled out of you. You want to have someone who has the same skill set, that's learned how to modify it, how to rein it in. But that's just how I see it. I see what you're saying too. You made good points. I got to take more calls because we're going up against the hour, but I appreciate you calling in, man. It was a good call.
You're welcome.
Brian Griese.
One last question. Steve Young, you had suggested Steve Young. Don't you think it's a possibility that he recommended Griese because they both worked at ESPN?
I was joking. I was joking. I was just joking. I was being a jerk. Good to see you, man.
All right,
later, man. Peace. Now, by Freddie, man, what's up?
What's up, Grant? Man, you need a schedule, man. I can't get on here. You need a schedule.
You can't get on here.
I never know when you're on, bro.
Oh man, I switch it up sometimes. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just messing with you, man. Hey, but real quick, we need a versus battle. You and Lumbro versus.
No, I'm tired of promoting his career, man. He's been riding my coattails on YouTube for too long.
It's hecka funny, man.
I don't need to help him anymore.
It's entertainment.
Yeah.
But so back to the
80-20 split. You know what I mean? How Mayweather came in and like he'll fight you, but he gets all the money. That's how I'd have to get an 80-20 split on that.
You need to go last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's up, man?
Okay, man. Team building 101. First of all, man, I'm just riffing right now. Everybody makes a thing about all these coaches, but if the kids can play, they can play. Mahomes, he'd have been good anywhere, anytime. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if Trey can play, he could play. But it looks like what we're doing is speculating. So what I was thinking, my theory was that Kyle wanted the team wanted Mac Jones. So you're seeing all the people that wanted Mac Jones gone. You know what I'm saying?
Could be something to that.
And what I think Kyle, if we know Kyle, we're trying to get inside the mind of Kyle, is Kyle tried to one up McVay and the Rams with how they traded their first rounds to get these start of Miller, Ramsey, and said, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my first to get this kid Trey.
Yeah. That's
what he was thinking. Because, he was trying to one up McVay and kind of do the same thing. So, I think,
highly possible for sure. Yep.
And with all these picks, everybody's like, oh, we need to look, man, they're third rounders. What are you really going to get with a third rounder? We're going to have to make moves in free agency. This, to me, it's like team building 101. If you ever played sports or Madden, you try to build a team, you look at trying to get the best players for the right price. Like if you need to trade Kittle, you trade Kittle. That's just what you do.
It's a business. It's not. There's no emotional tactics involved, man. And every time I hear someone say "Don't trade Kittle," all I hear is, "Man, I love Kittle. I love Kittle." Like,
look, players are stocks. Yeah. We're like Kramer. You buy high, sell low, say with it. This is what we do. Speculate.
Kittle stock is going to tank if he has one more injury to his lower legs. It's over.
So it's our look. Is he going to get better? That's what. Is his price going to go higher?
No. See, Freddie, me and you see things exactly the same. Man. That's what I've always been saying about you.
Well, get me on, man. I got more to say
right now. Anything else you want to say?
Well, let me see, man. Let me see. Hey, you need to do more singing. I agree. Somebody said, man, you need to do more singing, bro. Like, let that be the intro. Who did that? Cohn phone.
All right, man. What I'll do is I'll like record a bunch of like really great R&B songs for my.
Yeah,
I'll do that. That's a good idea. It's probably the best.
If you ever seen in Living Color, what he wrote a song about it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Freddie.
All right, man.
Wait. Brooks.
What up, bro?
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Chilling. Just got off of work. I'm tired, but I was like, let me jump on the phone.
And take a nap. Well, thank you for calling in before you crash. What's on your mind?
Two things. First one, short. I like the Brian Griese hire for one reason.
Okay.
It confirms Tom Brady is not coming to San Francisco.
Is there bad blood?
Well, no, but I doubt Tom Brady wants to take advice from somebody that he knows for a fact that he's better in. If you go back to Michigan.
Oh, you're gonna tell me now? What about back kicking your ass back in Michigan? Now you want to tell me what to do? Okay.
But secondly, I think this is probably the best time for Trey to play, and I'm tired of the he's not ready talk. This is the best time to play Trey because if you look at the window from right now to the time it's time to talk about his second contract, this is the best team he'll probably play with. As far as like where everyone else is at, as far as like you're getting prime Nick Bosa, you're getting prime Warner, you're getting, prime Ayuk. This is probably, his offensive line probably get better, but by the time that offensive line is, let's say, the best they'll ever be, his receivers are probably going to be gone. And if you look at, let's say, guys like Russell Wilson, when those first 3 years are the best Seattle team he's ever played on. And since then, they can't stop a nosebleed on defense.
Right. That's
so
true.
I think right now you have to go with Trey. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the cheapest he'll ever be. This is everyone around him is in his prime. So if he can just duplicate what Jimmy did and take away, let's say, don't throw double-digit picks in the season in a run-first offense.
Use your legs.
Use your
Push
legs.
the ball down the field.
Yes. When it's think about Trey, there was a 4th and like 10 that he picked up versus Seattle with his legs.
Yep.
Like Jimmy, dead rights.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Agree.
That's
why I feel like people are really clutching their pearls on this one. It's like, man, all he has to do to be better than Jimmy is throw a few less picks, use your legs, and take a couple shots every.
And the best part is for him, his strength is throws that are less risky, outside the numbers,
sideline, deep,
INT, PI, touchdown.
Jimmy's constantly forcing the ball into traffic, constantly. Lance won't. He won't. No.
And Jimmy's constantly leading people to the hospital too.
And everyone says Jimmy's so aggressive. He's a gunslinger. No, he just constricts.
He's a gunslinger with a Swiss knife.
Thank you. Yeah, with the Swiss Army knife. That's right.
But yeah,
all
cool
right,
call
man.
in, bro.
Take us out. It's gorgeous. I love it, man. Great to see you.
Nice, man. See
Are
you.
you 88 because you're born in 88?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes, man. Birthday's
Love
in
it,
the
baby.
month. Birthday's on the 24th.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. All right, well, happy
34.
birthday coming up. I'll remember it.
All right. See you, bro.
Later. I love people born in 88. Rob Martin, too. Murphy says, are people seriously asking what you can get with a third rounder? Best quarterback ever was taken in the 6th. Every pick matters, and this ain't Madden. You know what matters more, though? That $25 million in cap space the Niners are going to get when they cut Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh! No, not when they cut him, when they trade him for a conditional 9th. Look at this guy. Man, you're like a star now that the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Let me get this side. Hey, Grant, thank you for letting me in. I wanted to do a tribute to the great Chardal. I got my glasses on, but I can't see anything, so I got.
Oh, that's good. He is such a star. Love it, man. Thanks for that.
Hold on. So, Grant, I just wanted to say I love your work, man. You're neutral. I can't believe you're born in '88, man. Golly, I'm an old dude. I'm an old dude, man. I was around for the '88 Dodgers. God bless you being born when the '88 Dodgers, the year they went to World. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I just wanted to tell you, man. You gotta be thankful for this job that you have covering the Niners, man, because you look around the NFC West. Right now, the Seahawks are in turmoil with the Pete Carroll and Wilson. There's a train wreck in Arizona.
Yep.
The Niners with the constant. We love Jimmy, but we're not going to let him throw. We're going to give it to Debo. We're going to ride Debo,
but we love him.
we love him. And then we don't want to pay Debo because we got other players to sign. But imagine how boring it'd be if you were in Los Angeles covering the Rams. I mean, all we do is win. We got the chip now.
I would hate it.
I mean,
Niner fans hate you so much right now, but I love this.
I mean, imagine, hey, Grant, you want another beer, brother? You'd be right there at the barbecue at Malibu during the draft time. It'd be amazing, but it'd be boring. So you're in a great place.
I love second guessing professional sports organizations, but once they win a championship, it's hard to second guess them after that. You pretty much have to be like, well, I guess they know what they're doing.
Well, like being a Ram fan, it's been
my work here is done.
Being a Ram fan, it's been like Christmas every year with Les Snead. I mean, we got OBJ, we got Von Miller, we got Ramsey, and then poor Trey Lance. They're I don't know what they're doing for his confidence, but all this talk about Brady or Aaron Rodgers, they just traded for the guy. Like you said, you hit it on the head. Tyron Taylor, bring him in as a mentor, and if you have to split time between the two, because this window right now when they don't have to pay the young kid is important. I mean, what are you waiting for? I mean, you know what I mean? Are you going to bring a veteran guy that's going to take more money off the cap, and you're afraid to cut Jimmy? I mean, look at his stats. He wins, but I don't know if he's got a voodoo doll in his pocket or something. But I mean, he beat they beat Green Bay without him even scoring an offensive touchdown. The Niners scoring an offensive touchdown. So give Trey.
I feel like Kyle feels like his stock is Teflon. That nothing, even if the Niners decided they didn't want him anymore, that he would have 5 offers right away. The only thing I think he thinks that can tank his stock is if Trey sucks.
And that's true.
He can just keep Trey on the bench forever.
And that's
you know what I mean? Like he can just keep Trey on his bench until he decides he's ready. And
that's true, because guys like the McCarthys keep getting jobs. Horrible coaches.
That's true.
Jerry, the Cowboys ain't going to win because Jerry Jones wants a yes man. He could get another job, but I mean, look at the what's at his disposal? All these weapons, a defense, a decent offensive line, one of the better running stables in the NFL and the 49ers. And he keeps Jimmy in there. I mean, whose idea was it to bring Jimmy along from the Patriots anyway? Whose idea was that? Was that Lynch? That was Lynch. So Lynch is the reason why Jimmy's still there then.
Right. Yeah. Because he's trying to not lose the deal, but he's going to lose the deal.
Yeah.
He's going to lose the deal. Yeah.
Amazing.
I got to take some more calls, man, but I always appreciate
Thank you, my brother. I just want to.
It's really fun to watch you bask in the glory of winning.
I just wanted to go back. I just wanted to go back to this Cabo picture again.
Have a good one, man.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
That guy's the best. I love. That's how you're supposed to gloat when you win. That's the best. Good to see you out of the hospital, sir.
Oh yeah, I told you it wasn't that serious.
You sort of told me. You were like, we'll see, but I have a good feeling about it. Anyway, I'm glad to see you're doing all right.
Well, good. You enjoy your vacation?
I did. I've been real stressed for the last 5 months, and I felt like I don't know if you've ever heard of Calistoga, but it's up in the Napa Valley, and I'd never been there before. It's just like they have like dozens of these resorts that just have hot springs, and you just chill in the hot tub pretty much all day. Then you go to the other hot tub that's a little colder, and you come back.
Yes,
it's very relaxing. Then you take a nap. I needed that, man. I need some mental health.
Yes, that's what you need to do, man. Yeah. Considering everything you've been going through on the personal side, take that time, bro. My father passed a couple of years ago, so I know that pain.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. But on a lighter note, man, if the Saints will take Jimmy, oh, absolutely, I'm down.
Pack his bags, drive him to the airport.
Check it out, though. What about Jimmy for Lattimore? Because remember, they were reluctant to pay Marshawn Lattimore, and they were kind of iffy about signing him up that much for a cornerback. So
I love Marshawn Lattimore. I thought they should have drafted Marshawn Lattimore back when they passed on Patrick Mahomes. Had I been the GM that year, I would have taken Lattimore, and I probably would have gotten fired for not taking Mahomes. I love Lattimore. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. You're trying to get a corner like that. Yeah.
Solomon Thomas. Ugh, my flesh crawls every time we bring that draft back up. But the other thing about it, though, is they're used to a quarterback who can't really push the ball down the field. So it makes more sense than, people are giving it credit for, because Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball no more than maybe 15, 20 yards like the last 3 years.
That is true.
And he was washed. So, I mean, Kamara
and that's how Jimmy sees himself. He's like, I'm Drew Brees. I could do that. I'm Drew Brees. I could be just like Drew Brees. Like, no, you're not. You're not Drew Brees.
Well, I mean, for Michael Thomas, it wouldn't be that big of an adjustment. It'd be like, oh, hell, here we go again. All right.
Yeah, Yeah, he'll just force the ball to Michael Thomas 200 times a year. Sure. Well, I'm sure Michael Thomas probably like it.
Kamara could be his fake Debo.
Exactly.
The other another little quick tidbit. What do you think about David Njoku as a backup tight end? Because he's a free agent. He a big fast guy.
How about as a starting tight end after you trade George Kittle?
Well, you ain't gonna take going.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
oh God. Well, I mean, just to have another threat, but in all seriousness,
you never know how many games Kittle's gonna miss that given year. So yeah,
that's true. Yeah, especially this is thinking that he won't have a quarterback that's going to throw him into, collisions every play.
It's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's something to think about. And then I hadn't heard a lot of people talk about the Justin Reed free agent move.
Mm-hmm.
As far as being a replacement for Jaquiski. I mean, that's still out there too. I'm more of the line of with those draft picks. Go get some established guys. Go find somebody who, has 2 or 3 years left on their rookie deal that a team's not high on, but they fit your system and do something with it. Kind of like what we're doing with the D-line, like with Arden Key. They basically got him for, a bucket of scraps. And, oh, wow, look, this guy got 6-7 sacks.
I like it. I like that. Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. I like that.
Especially the way that they're talking about this draft. I mean, everybody who you listen to is just like, I mean, it's some guys, but there's not a guy. And I tend to kind of like what the Rams did to a degree. Now, I don't believe in trading 10 years worth of first round draft picks, but if you can get a quality starter, somebody who's proven for a second or a third or a combination of two, a third and a fourth, especially with all the compensatory picks and everything we got, it just makes sense, dude. It just makes sense.
Absolutely. It does. Hey, man, good call. Good to see you.
Appreciate it, dude. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, man. You take it easy.
Keneal, wait. I just want to get Adam on here because he hasn't called in 6 months, and I think he's mad at me. What's up, man?
What up, Grant?
Well, you don't call anymore, man. What's up with that?
Time. My girl made me get off of Twitter, too.
That's okay. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too. I just want to complain. I just want to call in and complain.
All right.
Because no one complains the way I complain.
That's true.
I have a big problem right now with the scouting of this team.
Okay.
And I think that it's real interesting that Kyle decided these 4 or 5 days, week of the combine, was the most important time to go bring his new coaches in to teach them the scheme. Last year, I know you said it first, it was very possible that last year they decided on Trey Lance in 2020. They didn't do real scouting again in 2021. They kind of brushed off Justin Fields, like you said.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, 1 year starter. Maybe they didn't feel like they had enough on him. They did no scouting on Davis Mills. You sent John Lynch up there, who isn't a scout, go up there to twiddle his thumbs and be good at networking because he's so great at that. Does no scouting at Davis Mills combine. There's no talk of that. If you want a guy that's under center playing in a pro style offense, you have a GM that's supposed to be networking at Stanford. He had no idea Davis Mills was a quarterback.
If Davis Mills had gone back to Stanford and were in this draft class, he'd be the number 1 quarterback taken.
Every quarter, the top 6 from last year
that's right.
would be in contention. They'd be the top 6 again. They'd all be in contention.
That's true.
Now this year, who's scouting for this team? Because I know that we said that our running backs coach, Bobby Turner, was the guy that was, maybe developing, but possibly handpicking the guys in the later rounds. Our tight ends coach, what was his name? Was it John Embry? Am I getting the name right? Yep. He was supposed to be the guy that maybe handpicked Ross Dwelly or George Kittle. We kind of give those guys credit for some of those draft picks as being the coaches. Where those guys are gone.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have those. I don't know who's the scout on this team. It's not John Lynch. It's not our position coaches anymore. Kyle Shanahan's sitting at home, probably talking to Tom Brady. That was the one thing that made me feel better was the first day of the combine. I'm watching it. Adam Schefter comes up and he says, "Oh, Tom Brady's at home at his parents' house, sleeping in the same race car bed he grew up as a kid." And I'm thinking, okay, why isn't Kyle at the combine? And I said, okay, obviously they're both in the Bay together. Makes a lot of sense that they're probably hanging out. Maybe that makes me feel better about Kyle Shanahan skipping the combine. But I don't know who's scouting for this team. Everything last year that we thought they liked in a position group, long arms at receiver, outside runners at running back, guards that can move, all out the window. None of that.
Yeah, that's right. What the hell? Who decided Aaron Banks and Trey Sermon were fits here? What?
Robert Hainsey was the better lineman at Notre Dame, and Trey Sermon had the widest lanes ever from Oklahoma and Ohio State. I don't know. But here's the thing. We all thought we knew what they liked in different positions, and it's all out the window. We're going to this year again thinking we know what they like at corner, thinking what they like at receiver, throwing all these names out. I saw Eric Crocker say that Jakeem Grant, 5'6" Jakeem Grant, with the smallest catch radius in the NFL, one of the smallest receivers in the league, came in at 175 pounds soaking wet. And all of a sudden, he's the first name you think of when you talk about a wide receiver, Kyle Shanahan. We threw those out the window 3 seasons ago, but we have no idea what we want anymore. So his name's brought up. And I just don't know what's going to happen in this year's draft. I don't know what they want in any position anymore. Tight end room's gone to shit because they're not going to re-sign Ross Dwelley. We don't have a second receiving tight end. They chose not to get the best receiving prospect, tight end or receiver last year. He went before Jamar Chase. People don't realize Kyle Pitts went before Jamar Chase last year. I don't know what we want. Man, and I just want to complain about it. I just want someone else to be like, yeah, what are we doing? I know there's a lot of talk on like trades, how are we going to get more draft picks? And I'm not confident in our use in a single one of them.
It seems like what the Niners do well is draft on day 3 and after. Because to me, I think they're not necessarily drafting for upside. They're drafting for scheme fits, and that's why their position coaches get involved, and they basically pick their own players. I think that's what happens a lot. But the first 2 rounds, I mean, is that a John Lynch production? Is that the scouting department? Like, they've had so many freaking misses that it's hard to say what they're looking for.
And now we don't have a scheme either. We're trying to teach the guys our scheme.
There is no experience on the offensive staff other than Kyle and Lynn and the offensive line coach. Everyone else is like Hankerson never coached wide receivers before. Freaking Griese never coached quarterbacks before. Fleury never coached tight ends before. Who is the running backs? They don't have a running backs coach. Yes, that's going to be really interesting.
And I didn't watch Brian Griese as a quarterback. I know he played 11 years. I don't know if he was good. I don't know if Leonard Hankerson was a good receiver. At least last year we had guys that had, I guess maybe in Wes Welker, was at least a good player. We at least leaned on, he was at least a good player. Leonard Hankerson, Brian Griese, were they even good players?
Oh,
I don't know.
No. Hold on. Griese got replaced by freaking Plummer, if I remember correctly. And Plummer was way better than him.
And I don't think Brian Griese even called the game. I don't know if he even sees the game well from the booth.
No, I never really liked his announcing. He's always, Jake Plummer replaced him and was way freaking better. That's what you got to remember. Brian Griese was supposed to be the heir apparent to John Elway, couldn't move, got replaced by Jake Plummer, and all of a sudden that offense took off with Jake Plummer because he was that much better than Griese.
I know they're going to keep calling us the faithful. I have very little faith in the direction that they chose to go with. But I mean, they had all these options last year. They kind of knew Rodgers and Brady were options for them. They could have done what we've done in the history of the 49ers franchise organization is we don't really take quarterbacks in the first round. Montana, Garcia, Young, Kaepernick, all of our guys that have kind of taken us to any success as far as championship games, at least getting to a Super Bowl. None of them were first round quarterbacks. If we had the option of sticking with that theme, we didn't. We kind of had the option of waiting a year, knowing we had 2 years with Jimmy, seeing what other veterans we wanted. We had that option, kind of still possibly going that route. But they knew what options that they had. They chose. They went the one they chose the one they went with. But they chose this. They chose this.
Yeah. Well, this was an epic rant, man. I hope you come back and do it again sometime.
All right, thanks, Grant. Thanks for your time, man.
See you, man. Keneal, appreciate you. How you doing?
What's up, man? What's up? It's good to see you, Grant.
Good to see you too.
Last time I came on here, I said not to trade Kittle, right? I was saying let's keep him for one more year. This Jimmy thing's kind of making me change my mind, though. This whole idea of how he's using the surgery and stuff like that. I almost think we might have to adopt that Belichickian methods where it's like we got to get him out a year early because if Kittle gets hurt again, like you said, his value is going to lower, and then it becomes a business. It becomes things get a little tricky. And Jimmy was the model teammate. He was the great guy, doing all this, and we did a lot for him. We let him start this year when we had a superior quarterback behind him. We let him start, let him play, let him do all this, let him make his money. And how does he repay us?
Taking his own trade value. And here's the thing. So if people are like, keep Kittle. Worst case scenario, 2-3 years, you can cut him. Yeah. If he thinks you're going to cut him, he's just going to be like, oh, man, I just had 8 surgeries. Funny thing. I just had 8 surgeries. So at least you're going to have to give me that injury guarantee. I mean, has D Ford not been doing this whole thing, this whole dance the last 2 years? I mean, it's pretty clear you can do this in the NFL. If someone's gonna get rid of you, man, I can't pass that physical. Sorry.
Yeah, and now, especially with my boy Christian Watson shooting up the draft boards now and everything with that 40. I said 4.4. He ran a 4.36 or something like that.
Damn.
I still want to get him. I still think if Kittle's the only,
that's a first round pick. Am I wrong? That's a first round pick.
But the receiver that receiver class is deep though.
It is
right?
deep.
It's a deep class. He still has the FCS thing. I feel like the combine has boosted him, and there's going to be some time. So it's going to be some time. So they're going to be like, okay, well, they're going to start picking apart his game and stuff like that. Now, if he's in the hot early seconds, I think we need to try to go up and get him. And I mean, I would hope not to give up Kittle in that case, but if we have to, I think we should do it, man. I think Watson's that guy. He can return kicks. He had 2 kick return touchdowns at North Dakota State last year, and he's 6'5".
Once you bring Watson on the team, now you're splitting targets between Debo, Ayuk, Watson, and Kittle. You don't need one of those guys making $16 million a year. You really don't.
Trade Kittle. I would trade Kittle. And I think Jennings can be a tight end. I think that he could really play that role potentially. I don't
think he could be like a Y, but he might be able to beef up and be a move tight end. I mean, that's essentially what Jordan Matthews did. Jordan Matthews was a slot receiver, and he just kept adding weight, and now he's a tight end. I mean, he's not he's trying. And I think maybe Jennings could do the same thing. Essentially, how they're using the pass game, he's a tight end in the pass game. I don't know if he could ever line up and block someone like that, but yeah, it's similar.
The only thing about Matthews is that he did it so late in his career, right? It's the old dog, new tricks type of deal.
True.
If you try to get Jennings to do it a little earlier, I think that he could potentially develop a little bit.
I mean, they wanted Hurd to do something like that, and I don't think they thought Hurd could be on the line, but they thought he could be a move tight end. Maybe same thing with Jennings.
I mean,
he's about as fast a tight end. I mean, he runs a 4.7.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think he would have a better chance at being an elite player if he can ever become like an elite player, a tight end than that receiver. You know, so I'm just frustrated with the whole idea with Jimmy right now. He's making me really mad. He's making me really, really mad. This whole idea again, like this whole.
Imagine how mad the Niners are.
Man,
how do they not see this coming though? They should be mad at themselves. Yeah, they should be mad at themselves.
But we should have got off him. That's why we should have got off him last year, though, right? That was the whole plan, to get rid of him when he still had some value. Yeah. And I'm just concerned if Kittle has a big injury, what is his value after that?
Tanked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hey, how old was Richard Sherman when he tore his Achilles? 29. How old was Kevin Durant?
We're playing with fire.
This is the age. Playing with fire. Kenil, good call. Good to see you, man. I love your glasses.
Oh, thank you, man. Last thing I'll say really quick before I go is that Honey Badger, we should try to get him. Jesse came in here a couple weeks ago, or after me, and because I was like J.C. Jackson and everything. But no, I think the Honey Badger, he posted something on Twitter about how they don't appreciate him in Kansas City and stuff like that, and he can come here and be a baller. I like versatile players like that. I think that's a big deal. That's why I'm big on Watson. That's why I was big on these are the type of guys that are versatile, that can do a lot of different things. And so I think the NFL is starting to shift, especially with Kyle, to the more like almost positionless type of football type of deal. So
absolutely,
Matthew, Watson, trade Kittle if we can.
That's my I love it, man. Great stuff, Kenil. Good to see you. Sir. Later. Guys, I only have time for one more. Sorry, Jeremy. Sorry, AJ. I got to end on Jaden, but I'll do one midweek and I'll get you, man. I'm sorry about that. Jaden.
What's up?
Jaden, take us out. Take us out, Jaden. How you doing?
All right. I'm taking us out. All right. So we're going to go back to Monday whenever you're talking with Vish.
Mm-hmm.
He said something I really agreed with, He said Deebo Samuel this whole time has been the silent leader. It's not Jimmy G. Jimmy G's been there, yeah, but he's not been like – I feel like Deebo Samuel's actually been that guy carrying the team since 2019, just like Vish said.
Yeah, the driver of the bus, I would agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like Jimmy had the persona, right? But you guys aren't in the locker rooms, you're the reporters, so you guys don't actually know. Because I'm assuming in the locker rooms, right, that's whenever it actually starts to show more.
I would imagine.
Like after a loss, I would assume.
Yeah.
That's whenever the leader's like, yo, what the hell did you like? Come on, boys.
A lot of those conversations happened before the media was even allowed in 2 years ago. By the time the media's allowed in, everyone's pretty much dressed and leaving. Just saying. But we're not even allowed in anymore.
Yeah. Why? Because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they're just using it as their advantage. But anyway, Deebo Samuel is a beast, all right? But we need Kittle still.
Okay.
Stop talking about trading him.
Well, I hope Kittle stays healthy, man.
You know, I didn't like him dropping down in weight. I don't feel like that was a good idea.
He's trying to take some load off of his lower body because it's breaking down. Yeah.
Put some like more weight down there. Put more muscles around your bones.
Sherman was 29 when he tore his Achilles. Durant was 30 when he tore his Achilles. I feel like he's showing signs of a guy who might have that kind of an injury coming up, non-contact. And if he tears an Achilles and comes back, he won't have nearly the speed he had beforehand. He won't be the same player. I'm scared of that happening.
Okay, so what if we do this, right? Keep Kittle, but Deebo and Ayuk with Trey Lance they'll thrive because he likes throwing outside anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put him in more blocking, just more blocking.
Problem is that they're paying him $16 million.
I keep forgetting about that.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. Like it's hard to justify paying him that much money. And I think the reason that you love Kittle. He's a fan favorite. He was great 2 years ago. Great 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the same player anymore. Sorry to say it.
I got a jersey of him in my closet right now.
There you go.
Man.
I had a feeling. Hey, you know what? You can always remember the good times. He was great in his mid-20s. Just, I think about it. I mean, Deebo might be in the same position in a few years. It happens.
I think
Patrick
what it is
wasn't the same.
I think what it is the Niner fans want like the tight end, like just like the quarterback. We want that tight end that's just going to be there forever. Like Gronk was.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you're thinking Jerry Rice was there forever. I think this is more going to be like Vernon Davis.
Don't say that.
It drops off quick. I'm sorry,
dude. If that's the situation, right? Like, I like the not the Mike McDaniels trade. Sending him to the Dolphins for Xavier Howard, that'd be a good trade.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I don't know, man.
Your emotional attachment to him as a fan won't allow you to say that. I understand, man. Until he's off the team, you have his jersey. You're not going to say that. I get it. That's why I'm here, because I'm not a fan. That's what I do. I say it so you don't have to.
But he makes me he genuinely makes me angry when he plays anyway, though. He's not a clutch player. Kittle is not clutch.
Oh, wow. Shots fired. Look, he hasn't done much in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. He hasn't done much in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Kittle in the playoffs, basically, what has he done?
Not much.
A touchdown, 2.
I mean, hold on. I think he has like 150 yards in 6 playoff games. Maybe one touchdown, maybe 2.
What?
Yeah, hold on.
What did I just hear?
He's played 6 playoff games. He has 15 catches. He has 179 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, what? What is that?
Oh,
now maybe it'll all change when Trey Lance is the quarterback. But when Lance started against the Houston Texans, he threw a lot to Ayuk, a lot to Deebo, and very little to Kittle. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But I got to wrap this show up. Is there anything else you want to say before we go?
If we trade Kittle, we better get at least 2 first rounds and a player, or else I'm not going to be happy about it at all.
Well, okay. I hear you, man. Thanks for calling in, Jaden. I love you.
Yes, sir. Love you too, man.
See you, man. Peace. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I went a little bit longer today. Now I got to go do my taxes. So I'll be around. I'm also going to be posting some articles on SI Niners. Check it out. See you around.